Little tidbit for you from the Ash Flash workshop as I continue to clean up down here. This is the non-threatening first contact. So if you're a salesperson like I am, you're cold calling businesses and people like I do, you know how that can be and how it is, and maybe you're afraid of it and you're thinking that you need to, anyway. Some people do not respond to some advertising because they are afraid the person they call will hammer them. And we've all experienced this, right? You opt into some list, you raise your hand, you express interest in some way, shape, or form. In fact, today we're going out to look at new not gas inserts, but just lit fireplaces. And I'm kind of dreading a little bit going into that store because I don't want to have to engage with the salesperson. So you have to remember that this is what people are going through when they're thinking about coming into your business, and you do need to cater to it. Some people will come right in, a lot won't. But if you do the right thing right in between, like this story shows you, can make a huge difference. So some marketers have introduced an intermediate step, and we all know this is true. This is your thing you get people to opt in for. But the point I want to get across today is, well, let me just read this. Some marketers are introducing an intermediate step for these timid folks to take using a recorded message. So in this case, again, it's older. You could still use this technique. It'd probably still be really effective. But the idea is put a recorded message somewhere using a separate recorded message and a separate, in this case, phone line, could be your website, could be anywhere where it's easy for someone to get to this audio. And in fact, the tool I just discovered is audio.com. It's free audio hosting. If anybody knows more about that, I've started to use it because that was exactly what I was looking for, something simple. That's where this audio is. The marketer invites the interested prospect to call and hear a recorded message. The recorded message then tries to sell the person on calling the regular number, coming into the store, etc. So here's what it looks like in real life. And I sold cars for 4 years. So this is a great idea. So a car dealer accustomed to running 2 full-page ads in the paper might cut back to just 1 full-page ad of his typical advertising, supplemented by a 4th page that only says, before you buy a car, call this recorded message. If you don't, you'll spend more money than you have to for your next car. Call X. And of course, you call the number, and then you address maybe the top 5 objections or the top things your customers are telling you about why they were reluctant to come in and buy a car at your dealership, and you're off to the races. You're selling to them automatically. People can call that number, go to your website, go to wherever they're going to get that audio sales message anytime they want to help break down the barrier to bringing them in. All right, so just so you know where this particular thing came from, because some of this stuff you can still find on eBay, which is cool. 63 Killer Marketing Strategies by Dan Kennedy. How to ensure that your product, service, or offer is the best it can be, presented in the best way it can be. These are just, simple reports, things that Dan Kennedy and others have written that I've collected on eBay over the years, and they're full of great ideas. Where can you implement this idea in your sales funnel right now to break down that barrier? One more quick example, just so you know who I am and what I do. I cold call funeral homes. I work in the death care industry. I provide the insurance products that funeral homes need to sell you your funeral in advance. So when I cold call a funeral home, my main thing is like, hey, I'm just here. I just would like to introduce myself and talk to the person in charge of pre-need, just to see if I can start a conversation. Once I can make that connection, I can start communicating via my print newsletter, my email newsletter, and all the usual stuff that you probably already know about. But the thing about that is it personalizes the interaction. It breaks down the barrier, and it gives people an opportunity to experience you and what you offer in a way that's convenient and comfortable for them, and it entails no pressure of you being in their face, as this thing said starting out. People are afraid to opt in because they don't want you to hammer them. So you don't want to walk into a funeral home and hammer the funeral director who's busy with a number of other things at the time. You want to just try and find a way in and trying to establish that connection so that you can keep the conversation going. And that's what this is really about, is how do you keep the conversation, the sales conversation going? And in this case, get someone over that initial hump, which is often the most difficult step. Hope this provides you a few ideas. Thanks for tuning in. Here on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm ramping this channel back up. Take care, everybody.